The candle flickered in Eleanor Hayes's steady hand as she hesitated at her bedroom door, the old oak creaking under the fury of the Texas thunderstorm raging outside. On the other side stood Ethan Caldwell, his Stetson clutched in calloused fingers, rain dripping from his sandy blonde hair. Those hazel eyes of his held secrets that could unravel everything she'd built in the sleepy town of Willow Creek. For years she'd worn mourning gray, for years of quiet devotion and small-town scrutiny after losing her husband to a heart attack. But tonight, with lightning cracking like judgment from above, all that restraint felt as fragile as the glass panes rattling in the wind. Ethan's voice cut through the roar, deep as a canyon echo. "Eleanor, I can bunk in the shed if that's easier. Just say so." She leaned against the door, sensing his warmth seeping through the wood. By dawn, the whole town would whisper. Sheriff Harlan would finally have his ammunition, the Baptist women's group their fresh gossip, and she'd have a memory to cling to when loneliness crept back in. Her fingers found the latch. One turn, and 2 decades of being the flawless widow would shatter like brittle clay. 2 months earlier, Willow Creek sprawled like any forgotten oil town in West Texas, baked under relentless sun and built on faded dreams. Eleanor managed her cozy bookstore on Main Street, stacking shelves with the precision of someone who'd learned books were reliable unlike people who vanished in the night. The bell jingled, and in walked Ethan, all lean muscle in faded jeans and boots scarred from ranch work. He moved with the easy grace of a man at home in wide-open spaces, his broad frame blocking the afternoon light. "Ma'am," he tipped his hat, and Eleanor felt a stir she hadn't known in years, so warmth spreading low in her chest. "Heard you might point me toward some land for sale around here." She studied his hands as he spoke. Strong, steady, the kind that could tame a bucking bronco or soothe a heart long gone cold. "The Harper Spread's got sections available," she replied, her voice even despite the flutter. 80 acres, solid well access. When their gazes locked, Eleanor saw not the predatory glint she'd dodged from local widowers, but something real, like he saw the woman beneath her pinned-up hair and sensible blouse, the one buried under grief. That Sunday, he slipped into the back row at First Baptist, hat off, head bowed during Pastor Jenkins's fiery sermon on sin and redemption. But as the choir sang, "How Great Thou Art," Eleanor felt his eyes on her, warm as summer honey, and she fumbled the lyrics she'd known forever. "How great thou art." The irony burned. After service, as she straightened hymnals, his boots echoed on the wooden, floor-deliberate steps of a man who'd earned his patience. "Mrs. Hayes." His tone wrapped her in unexpected gentleness, not pity. "That voice of yours lit up the whole room." "Thank you, Mr. Caldwell." Ethan Caldwell. He fidgeted with his hat. This might be forward, but any idea where a fella could grab a proper Sunday dinner? The diner's grease pit ain't cutting it. Eleanor surprised herself with a laugh. "Mrs. Wilkins tries, but she could char toast." The words tumbled out. "I always make extra for one." And so it began, a tentative waltz of 2 souls thawing in her modest kitchen. Ethan shared tales of his grandma's pecan pie and the Bible college he'd ditched for the rodeo circuit. She opened up about her late husband, a decent provider, but silent as the plains and the echoing quiet that made her talk to shadows. "Loneliness sneaks up on you," Ethan said, drying dishes with sleeves rolled up, revealing tanned forearms. "Makes you forget you're breathing." Their fingers brushed over a plate, lingering 4 beats, long enough to remind Eleanor she still had a heartbeat. September brought whispers on the dry winds. Eleanor sensed them in the hushed aisles at the feed store, the sidelong glances during church potlucks, and Sheriff Harlan's uninvited stops by her shop. Getting chummy with that wanderer, Harlan leaned on her counter, his badge gleaming, his breath too close. "Boy's got no stake here, no family." Makes folks question his motives. Eleanor's back straightened. She'd fended off types like him since her teens. Mr. Caldwell's a patron, sheriff. Nothing else. But the lies stung Ethan was everything more evident in her switch to floral dresses over gray, her hair loosening in soft waves that caught the sun. The day it all shifted came with a sudden downpour. Eleanor was at the cemetery, tending her husband's grave out of habit more than heartache, when the storm hit fiercely. She dashed to an old tool shed nearby, drenched and shivering. Ethan appeared from the rain like a vision, shirt clinging to his chest, hair plastered. Wordlessly, he draped his jacket over her, his body heat lingering in the fabric. In that cramped space, thunder booming overhead, they stood silent. Eleanor inhaled his scent leather, earth, man, and her pulse raced. Eleanor, his whisper was both plea and sin. Should I leave? Should you? The words escaped. His fingers grazed her cheek, tender as prayer. You're the most stunning woman I've laid eyes on. I'm 45, she murmured, but didn't retreat. And I'm 31, and utterly wrecked by you. The kiss was soft at first, then urgent, tasting of pent-up years. Eleanor's hands clutched his shirt, pulling him near, savoring the end of isolation. But Willow Creek judged harshly. Within days, the Baptist ladies convened an emergency meeting. Book sales plummeted. Kids she'd slipped candy to scurried away. The tension boiled until Sheriff Harlan ambushed Ethan outside the tavern, backed by his drinking buddies, whiskey fueling their bravado. Time to hit the road, Caldwell. Harlan sneered, hand on his holster. We don't need outsiders chasing our widows. Ethan's reply was steel-edged. I purchased land legally, got the deed. As for Mrs. Hayes, she's her own woman. Not on my watch. The standoff crackled with threat, 10 seconds of coiled fury before Ethan walked off. But Eleanor, peering from her window, saw the rage in his stiff stride, the spark of potential bloodshed. That night, resolve hit her like the storm now brewing. The thunder rolled in, turning the world to chaos. Eleanor was stoking her fire when pounding echoed at her door. Ethan, soaked and chilled, led his lame horse. Sorry to impose, Buck twisted an ankle in the mud. Can't reach the motel. Stable him out back. I'll fetch towels. Watching him care for the animal with quiet skill, Eleanor felt a wall inside her crumble. This man had stormed her guarded life, becoming her anchor. Inside, she poured coffee hand-steady. Ethan warmed by the hearth, steam rising from his clothes. She traced the line of his profile in the firelight. Ought to head out, he said, neither moving. In this, you drown. The air thickened with unspoken truth. Staying meant exposure, leaving meant peril. Eleanor, his voice roughened. If I stay. She stepped nearer, fingers undoing her blouse's top button. I've been mulling what you said about ignoring the gossip. The buttons yielded one by one. Ethan's eyes darkened with hunger. For years, she whispered. For years, untouched, unseen as a woman. Her blouse parted, revealing skin. It means I've forgotten desire. Ethan stood, closing the gap, hands cupping her face. Your desired every church service, every shop visit. I ache to unravel you, show you your fire. Show me. The kiss ignited, raw and consuming. Ethan's fingers freed her hair, pins clattering as auburn curls fell wild. She tugged his shirt free, breath hitching at his tone form, a scar snaking his side. Ow! She traced it. Bar fight in Amarillo old story. His hands worked her clothes away slowly, reverently. Eleanor, are you sure? Since you first walked in. Layers shed, she stood vulnerable in her slip. His gasp was music. Lord, you're flawless. His lips trailed her neck, sending shivers. They stumbled to her bedroom, the one shared with one man for 18 years, empty since. Ethan paused at her chemise's tie. Eleanor, I need to confess. Vulnerability flashed. What? I've never. You're my first. The revelation sweetened the air. She cupped his face. And you're my second me choice. The tie loosened, barriers gone. He lowered her gently, hands exploring with awe. Gorgeous, he breathed against her skin. As his mouth claimed her breast, pleasure arched through her, forgotten fire reigniting. Her fingers guided him, teaching what solitude had honed. When they united, tender than fervent, Eleanor shattered open, light flooding in. They moved as one, Ethan instinctively in love. Her climax tore through like wildfire, his name a cry. He followed, whispering devotion. Entwined after, his heart thudded under her ear, fingers stroking her back. I love you, Eleanor Hayes, come what may. She met his gaze. And Ethan called well beyond words. They slept as the storm howled, a bubble of bliss. Dawn brought reckoning. Beatrice Fowler, head of the Baptist ladies, banged on her porch, voice shrill for all to hear. Eleanor Hayes, your conduct shames this God-fearing town. Neighbors peeked as Eleanor clutched her robe. That drifter slunk out at sunup scandal. By noon, her store echoed empty. Meetings canceled, and even kids avoided her. Pastor Jenkins's visit stung deepest. Eleanor, I watched you grow up proper. This fling with that young buck. He's a man who sees me, Pastor. He's using you, mark my words, he'll bolt. Doubt wormed in. Ethan Young. Free what bound him to her fading bloom? That evening, Ethan found her in the dim store, shelves bare of life. I heard the fallout. My fault, she said. Yours, but worth it. He pulled her close. Come with me. I fixed up the Harper Place, it's ours. Marry me, Eleanor. Hope warred with fear. Before she answered, Harlan emerged from the shadows, gun hand twitching, deputies flanking. Back for seconds, boy. Evening, Sheriff. Private talk. Not when it taints our ladies. Harlan waved a paper. Wired sheriffs in Oklahoma and New Mexico, you left messes. Widows entangled, husbands scarred. Ethan's frame tensed. Lies. Eleanor reeled the scar, his past. Ethan, it's twisted. In Tulsa, I helped a battered wife escape her brute. He attacked with a bladeth, that's all. Harlan smirked. Trouble follows you. Pack up. The air crackled with violence, guns glinting. Stop. Eleanor interposed. Sheriff, your protection ends here. She slammed her key down. I'm done with Willow Creek. Take the store, turn it into your gossip den. To Ethan, you showed me life again, thank you. Ignoring pleas, she fled to pack, boarding the bus to Dallas that night. Heartbroken but resolved steel. 6 months on, Eleanor thrived in her Dallas boutique, selling handmade quilts to a bustling crowd. The city Baptists valued her craft, no questions asked. But nights brought ghosts, arms reaching for absence. The bell tinkled. She looked up from accounts, expecting a client. Instead, Ethan's hazel eyes met hers, weary but determined, older lines etched by time. Hello, Eleanor. Silence stretched. Ethan, far from Willow Creek. Not far enough without you. He entered, sent stirring memories. Sold the ranch, it wasn't home. Why find me? Mrs. Wilkins tipped me off, disliked Harlan's ways. He neared. You seem settled. I am. The half-truth hung. But I'm not haven been since you left. Ethan, I know you forged your path. But I love you still, want to prove it daily. Her walls cracked. The scandals. Harlan's ousted corruption exposed. Ladies moved on. You expect me back? Nah, stay here, build. But let me join, court you right. On one knee, he offered a gold band. Marry me, Eleanor. Let's face storms together. Through the window, Dallas hummed her safe world. But Ethan's eyes promised more, love and independence intertwined. Yes, she whispered, slipping on the ring. Yes, Ethan. They embraced, the kiss sealing forever. Months later, they wed in a quiet Dallas chapel, blending lives in a cozy home where Eleanor ran her shop and Ethan managed a local ranch. Scandals faded. Love endured, proving age and gossip bowed to true hearts. They lived happily, cherishing each dawn together. What do you think about Eleanor and Ethan's story? Do you believe love can conquer age gaps and small-town judgment, or should she have stayed independent? Share your stance in the comments below. Let's debate.